Now that we have unboxed the camera, let's go through the manual and show all the features that it will do. Safety information, just your typical safety information, like don't damage the power cords, don't bend it, don't touch the device with wet hands. I mean, just your typical safety information. Cautions that, this one's funny. Don't use your device near other electronic devices. I mean, it is in a car, along with radios and cell phones and all that, but it says most electronic devices use radio frequency signals. Your device may interfere with other nearby electronic devices, which it could. Especially, this camera is equipped with Wi-Fi, so there might be some close call interference with those Wi-Fi signals. Of course, it's not emitting Wi-Fi all the time. That is a setting you have to turn on temporarily. It's primarily used to just transfer videos from your device to your phone wirelessly, but that is an option for you. What else? You got your FCC statement. That's your typical disclosures. Warn prompts are just words of caution that they like to caution you. It says that please ensure the dash cam is switched off when you either insert or remove the micro SD card in order to avoid damage. That's typically something you would do with every device. It may be reading to that card as you try to pull it out, and if that's the case, it could corrupt those files. So it's important to turn off the device before you either push the card in or are removing it. There's information about what type of card that you want to use. Please do not use any generic class 10 cards from third-party sellers. They're not made for the 4-channel recording dash cam. It's important to format the micro SD card, usually on a monthly basis, just to make sure that the files are not corrupted in any way. So here's the device layout. You have the rear camera slot, which I've already got it put together here. So you have your rear camera slot. It's just your typical 3.5 millimeter, like an earphone jack. The suction cup holder, it just slides in, so, and then you push that back to lock it in place. And it does fit tightly, so there is very little movement. In fact, there's no movement between the camera and the base, which I really like. And there's no electronic points in this, so you don't have to worry about those points getting damaged, especially with the Viveo camera that I have. The GPS base that mounts to the windshield has 4 small points on it, and that's what helps mount the camera, just like this same kind of setup it has on the base and the camera as well. Well, if you don't line it up correctly, you have a tendency to bend those points, and when you bend those points, it damages the base, and therefore the camera does not receive the power that it needs. It's a small design flaw. I overlook it because of how great their cameras are, but that is something that I do enjoy with this one, is that the mounts are completely separate from any power source or connection that they may have. The GPS unit appears to be built directly into this, so you don't have to worry about purchasing a GPS unit separately, which is very helpful. Let's get to the button features. So one of the things that I've noticed about this camera is that the button features, the buttons are not laid out, at least to me, they're not laid out in a way that makes common sense. You have the power button, which is right here in the center, and with the other dash cams that I have, the button to save the video when you're driving is right in here in the center, and all this button here does is turn the camera on and off. It does not save the videos. The button to save the videos is the OK button, which is off here on the side. I find that confusing. I'll get used to it. I'm just accustomed to the save feature always being in the center, and when you're driving and you're trying to push a button to save the video because the gravity sensor didn't automatically save the video for you, it's just something I'll have to get used to. Now, one of the things that this book stresses is that every one of these buttons have multiple features, and they're labeled menu, up, power, down, and OK, yet each one of these have 2 to 3 different features for every button. So you have to memorize these features and these functions in order to understand which button to use in a particular case. So you have, according to the manual here, it says that the power button can turn on and turn off the screen, or you can press and hold for 3 seconds to turn the device on or off. You have the OK button, and you press to confirm a selection while in setting mode. Not sure what that means. When you're in the menu, you can press OK to select that function. It says recording mode hotkey. Okay, so what that means is that as you're recording, you can press that and it will lock that video so that it doesn't get erased when you have the loop recording on. It won't get erased over time. It will go into a separate folder and be saved there and not be deleted. Or when it's recording, I think, don't quote me on this, is that it will turn off the recording. If you press and hold for 3 seconds, it will activate the Wi-Fi. And then you'll have to download a separate app on your phone or whatever device you're using, and then that will communicate to the camera. I've tried that a little bit. I've got to go back and use it again to see. I didn't find it very user-friendly, but that's what I did first try. So you have the menu button. Press once to stop recording. Press once, twice to switch between settings. So once it stops recording and you press the menu button, you'll go into the menu. There are 2 separate menus. One will be your general menu, and then the other one is more specific, certain functions that are recording specific. And then also you can press and hold for 3 seconds to switch between the video recording and playback modes. In the playback mode, you press the switch between the 4 cameras, and you'll be able to view the playback of all 4 cameras on the screen, which is very helpful if you don't have a device to see it on, such as your phone, or take the memory card out and show it in your laptop. It's designed so that if you were to have an accident and you needed to show the authorities, you could do so. If you press the up button to navigate up through the options in the menu mode, or it will also start and stop the video recording. So I was incorrect. The up button is the one that starts the video recording. Or if you press and hold the up button for 3 seconds, it will take a photo. And those photos are in the JPEG mode. I don't know if that means anything to you or if that's a problem, but they are taken in JPEG. It tends to be, JPEGs are great because of the compatibility that they have between devices. They're easier to view than most of the other formats. And then if for some reason your camera starts to give you problems, there is a reset button somewhere. Reset button. I think it's right here. I don't know if you can see that, but the reset button, you will need to take a paper clip or something, stretch it out and stick it down there and hold it for 5 seconds to reset the device. Goes into about installation. The camera itself is not waterproof. You'll need to protect it from water. However, the review camera is waterproof. It looks like it's been silicone sealed around the edges, so it can go on the outside if you want to install it on the outside. It's your preference. This is the part where I had mentioned in the previous video about the backup lines. It does describe that there's a red wire somewhere on this. I don't see the red wire. Maybe I'm missing it. It appears to be all in this device. Maybe there's something that plugs right here and you plug that into it. Maybe it's on previous models and this is an old manual. I'm not sure. This particular model, it seems like there may not be a way to show the backup lines and use this as a backup camera. It may show the review camera at all times on this, and if you have the option of showing each and one of these videos in real time, then that may work. I don't know. We'll plug and play this and see how things show up. Inserting the memory card, we want to make sure that the memory card is inserted the correct way. It's very easy. It's like most other devices. It just pushes in, pushes out. Well, I say that. Come on. There. No. Just close that. Okay. There. I don't know if you heard that, but it clicks and is held in place. Same way for removing the memory card. You just push in and it pops out. Occasionally, you'll need to format the memory card. That just helps preserve the quality and ensure that there's not any issues with saving the videos. So all 4 cameras have a resolution of 1080p. Now, again, that's not 4K. We'll show you the quality of the videos here in the next video. They seem to be great. Their 1080p's are good enough quality to see what's going on, plus it makes it easier to upload those to such as formats like Facebook, YouTube, one thing or another without having to downgrade those resolutions. But it's definitely okay. It's not great enough to be able to see license plate numbers, but if you pull up close to the vehicle, you'd be able to see it. It's just from a distance. License plate numbers and those kind of details are still fuzzy. Loop recording, you can change the loop recording to different 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I think 3 seconds is the longest, which I find it a little bit short. Some of the other cameras that I've had, 3 seconds was the minimum that you could record before it would loop, and then it would go up to like 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I find 5 minutes and 15 minutes, especially 15, to be way too long. That's way too long of a video to be saved if you were to save it. It takes up a lot of space on your memory cards. 5 minutes tends to capture just enough of what happened before the incident and just enough after the incident to get an understanding of what happened. 3 minutes, it's a little short. I may find where I've got to go back and find the videos before and after the saved video just to make sure that I've captured everything that was going on there, especially with these other viewpoints. I've never had the ability to capture what was going on inside the cabin or behind the vehicle before, so I may find myself searching those other files to capture that. Gravity sensing is what they call it. It's basically the ability that the camera knows that the vehicle is in park and is not moving, and that what it will do, it'll do 2 things. It will either sense that an accident has happened and go ahead and save all 4 videos or whatever is plugged in. If the review camera is not plugged in, it will save all 3 videos, video files from each lens. are in parking mode. It can use the gravity sensing to realize that the vehicle has been still for, I don't know for how long. It doesn't say in the manual how long it takes for it to go into parking mode. It just has that option, but we'll figure that out later. It has a date stamp that you can have. It does record audio. You can turn that feature on or off if you want. You can adjust the exposure rate, which I found interesting. I don't think any of the other cameras that I had the ability to adjust the exposure rate, but with the ND filter on here, that could be important, especially with the additional tint, maybe that you wanted to adjust that exposure. Light frequency for the US states is going to be at the 60 hertz. That's important in case you start getting flickers. Certain flickering is probably going to happen with foreign vehicles, like their headlights, their LED lights, whatnot. So that's something that may happen. 60 hertz is going to be your best option if you live in the States. That will at least stop the flickering from your traffic lights and your street lights, but maybe not from your foreign-made vehicles, though. The screensaver option, I found this one really interesting. So it has multiple options when it comes to the screensaver. You can either have it completely off, like this, or you can have it where you view all 4 cameras. If you have the 4th one plugged in, you have all the cameras that are available to you. You can watch those. Or you can have it where it's on a timer from 1 minute to 30 seconds, I believe, maybe even on down to 15 seconds. Or you can have it where it displays the speed of the vehicle and the date and a little bit of other information, which I find that interesting. It may get annoying at night, but if you're in an older vehicle and your speedometer doesn't work all that well, it's semi-accurate. I found it to be off about a mile or 2 miles per hour compared to my vehicle's gauges, but at least it's within the range that you're probably not going to get pulled over. That's something, if in case you want to go that route, that is an option for you. It does, when you set it up with the parking mode, it has a notice that says that this parking monitor cable needs to be purchased, and if it's installed, it will do that. I haven't checked it. I think any kind of hardwiring that you have is going to do what it says. It says it as a disclaimer, not necessarily as that it's sensing that the one from their company is not on here and it won't engage. I think it will do it. It's just telling you that it's important because this is a capacitor only camera. There's no batteries in this to power the camera long term. It will store just enough voltage and enough current to keep it on for a few seconds before it shuts down, maybe capture some additional information in case you were in an accident and it destroys your battery or your power source. It will continue to run. Now, in the past, this camera, you won't be able to do that. With the cameras in the past that had the USB attached to one of these, I did unplug that and plug it into a battery pack if I wasn't able to wire it in directly, and then run the camera from the battery pack for several hours before the battery pack went dead. That on this camera we wouldn't be able to do that, but I have done that with other cameras. Maybe if you did find another power cord that did have a USB port on it, you would still be able to do that with this camera. I'm just not sure with the power load on this one. It may draw down those packs too much, too fast. But that is an option for you if you wanted to try that out. So when it comes to the parking sensor, it says it has 2 different options: the gravity sensing and time lapse. So the gravity sensing is going to again, notice that the vehicle is parked, and then turn on the parking sensing. So if there was a bump or anything like that, it will turn the camera on and then start recording. If you have a time-lapse record, it will record 1 frame per second, which allows it to be time-lapse. So it basically speeds up the recording so that you're able to see it for a longer period of time while also saving space on your memory card. One of the features, and I'm not sure you've noticed, there are these 4 LEDs. They're here. They are all infrareds, which allows these lenses to be able to see at night because of the infrared spectrum. Now you can turn those off, because one of the issues that I've noticed, or what I think would happen with these infrareds, is that if you have this forward facing toward a windshield, the infrared that is coming off of this is going to display a glare. So you're not going to be able to see through, or not see through well, the windshield or any kind of glass. However, if these are pointed backwards to the cabin, then at night you're going to have night vision on your footage, which is important in case you do Uber or anything like that. Rideshare being very important to record your cabin, especially since you're not able to see what's going on. You're concentrating on the road. But you have the options of turning these off, so that if you do have it forward facing, or even if you have just one forward facing, that you'll be able to see through the windshield at night. You have the ability to change the output speaker volume, so you'll be able to hear the sound if you're playing back from the camera. And then of course to be able to turn off and on the key sound as you're pushing the buttons. You adjust the date, time, set the time code. Again, this has the built-in GPS speed unit, so it will display how fast you're going in those speeds. I did not see the GPS coordinates. Some of the cameras have GPS coordinates with it. From what I understand, is that you have to download another app, which can be a bit frustrating, is that we've already downloaded one app for our phone, and then we have to download another app to do the GPS video playback on our laptops or your device. Here's a photo of what it can do. It's supposed to be able to show the video, and then here it has the file name, the date, and the size of the file. Have a map of where your car and how fast it was going, and then it shows the speed curve to show a little bit of data that you might want to know to show to your insurance company. Then it has the latitude and longitude and the GPS coordinates here. Some cameras display the GPS coordinates directly on the main file. I find it a bit frustrating that I have to download another app to do it, but hey, if I need to go that route, I will. I'm not sure that I'll download that app to just get that extra information. Usually the speed is all I really want to know anyway, and I should be able to pull the metadata from the file to figure out any other information that I might want to know. And same way goes for playing the file to your phone. Again, you got to download the app, and you'll click the OK button. You press and hold it for 3 seconds. It'll pull up a QR code here. You'll scan the QR code. You'll download the app, and then the app will apparently read in real time to the camera. I couldn't get it to work the first time. I'm sure it was user error, but I couldn't get it to play on my phone from the camera. Again, it's not a big deal. I typically prefer to pull the memory card out of the camera and get the files that way anyway. But if you're on vacation and you're without your devices and you need that, then maybe that's important to you. Another thing that I want to point out is that when you rotate these cameras back, in fact, there's a stop point there. You have to rotate them a certain way. But if you rotate the camera backwards toward your cabin or any direction that you want, you know what? I think I just figured this out. I feel dumb. All right, so what I was doing is that I was rotating it like this, right? So what ends up happening is that the video that you record is upside down, and then you have to turn it over and post edit. I feel really dumb not just figuring this out firsthand, but you can just rotate that and your video should be right side up at that point and without any issues whatsoever. Okay, well, I'm glad I solved that. I was thinking there had to be some type of setting that would allow me to rotate, some type of setting in the menu that would allow me to rotate the video from upside down, because again, first glance, I just rotated that for whatever reason. But you don't need to do that. They'll easily just go from one front to the back without any issues. Okay, stay tuned for the next video.